Hi, my name is Mark McKnight and welcome to this lesson with learnandplayit.com. Today we're going to take the next step after our lesson about comping through a chord progression like Autumn Leaves and try to solo over it using some of the techniques we've been talking about, including 2-5-1 progressions, minor 2-5-1 progressions, also chromatic approaches, bebop scales, etc. So obviously you're going to be familiar with the chord progression and some of the ways of comping through it from the previous lesson. So without further ado, let's get straight to the playing, and I'll demonstrate the example solo for you. This is going to be one chorus of the tune. So let's try that now. Okay, so that's the example of the solo over the form. You can try comping behind that, or you can try playing it along with me. I recommend you do both. I'm going to play it a little quicker now, something that might be closer to performance speed. So let's try that. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's the solo, at a maybe more musically appropriate tempo. So let's talk about some of the ideas that I've included in this particular example solo. So from the very beginning, we're outlining the harmony in our solo line. For example, the first bar goes like this. And that's all over A minor 7. So I'm going 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7, straight up the arpeggio. 1, flat 3, or sorry, 1, 2, flat 3, 4. So you don't get much more inside the tonality than that. Then at this point, we jump to, so this part is all altered scale material. It's coming from the E flat melodic minor scale, which is D altered. So it's sharp 9, 3, sharp 9, 1, or flat 9 rather, 1, flat 9, 1, flat 7. And then that resolves, flat 7 resolving down to the third of G major. And then we just play a standard lick on that. Now that whole thing is actually one of our 2-5-1 licks from a previous lesson. So this is putting it into a musical context for you, which will hopefully show you, maybe you want to try this with some of the other licks, just splice them in there right at the start of the tune, play the rest of the solo the same, and just try varying that lick. You can do that throughout the solo. Every time you come to a 2-5-1, try putting in a different one of the licks that we covered. Okay, so we have on the G major 7, then we kind of hold that. That's the third of C major 7, so we hold that, and then the very end of the bar, that's all over F sharp minor 7 flat 5. It's like a C major 7 arpeggio, but it's targeting, that's the 11 or 4th degree of the F sharp low grade mode. 11, flat 5, flat 7, flat 9, 11, 5, 11, flat 3. So really, flat 9 wouldn't necessarily work if we held it over the chord. Get a really dark sound there. But because it's part of a solo line, it's more of a passing tone, or there's less emphasis put upon it. It's also part of a really strong arpeggio sound, so our ear will accept it. Then this part, this is over the B7 chord. That's all altered scale material that's coming from the B altered scale, which is C melodic minor. Sharp 9, flat 9, back to sharp 9, flat 13, flat 7, and then flat 7 resolving by step to the 5th of E minor. Okay, so everything's melodically voice leading from one chord to the next. Then a standard minor line, that's just running from 5 down to 1 of minor, 5, 4, flat 3, 2, 1. Then that's on E7, so this is actually F melodic minor. So I've taken this minor motive from E, and because altered scale, E altered scale, is F melodic minor, I've just moved it up a semitone. So that gives us continuity, the idea that we have continuity in the lines. It's like a motive that we're developing, and it keeps the listener interested. It gives them something to catch on to. Then we do exactly the same thing for A minor as well. Okay, now this is going on to D7. This is all altered scale. That's flat 5, 3rd, sharp 9, flat 9, 1, flat 7 resolving by step to the 3rd of G. That's a standard arpeggio line for G, so this would be a good one to practice throughout the keys for any major chord. And then whenever we get to the C, that's just a small melodic fragment that we're using on top there. So G, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then that's in the C. Okay, now whenever we get the F sharp minor 7 flat 5, we're using one of our bebop lines, so our 2-5-1 lines involving a bebop scale. That's all taken directly from a previous lesson. So basically this, we're starting on the 11 of, or the 4th degree if you like, of the F sharp minor 7 flat 5 chord. Playing 11, natural 3rd, which is a passing tone, flat 3rd, then just running straight down the rest of the mode normally. Now at that stage, we're targeting the 3rd of the B flat chord. So then we have this sort of standard jazz vocabulary here. That's working because again there's a motive there, and we're approaching the F sharp, which is the 9 on E minor. Okay, then another standard piece of vocabulary that's coming from E melodic minor, because we're going 9, 1, major 7, 1, flat 3, major 7, major 6. Okay, so we're pausing, holding that on E flat. Then this is kind of a standard lick for F sharp minor 7 flat 5, B7, E minor. We're going. Okay, that's actually coming from the diminished scale, which is a scale we haven't covered yet, but I think it's really important to, before you approach something in theory, have a practical example of how it works so it means something to your ear. So this is going to be a really good way to kind of preempt looking at the scale by using an example from it and getting the sound in your ear. So whenever you actually get the scale under your fingers, it'll make a lot of sense to you and it'll have some sort of meaning. So let's just learn this as a 2-5-1 lick. So that's covering the whole way to the E chord. Then we're just going to run down the E arpeggio. That's just an E minor triad. Flat 3, 1, 5, flat 3. With a little bit of phrasing at the end. Targeting going from flat 3 to natural 3 because we're going to an E7 chord. And that's some standard jazz vocabulary there. You can hear the chords. Da, 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 da. So that's going 3, flat 9, 1, flat 7. Flat 7 of the E is resolving to the flat 3rd of A. At that stage, we're using more or less the same kind of standard vocabulary. That's on the D7. We're going from A minor, so we're encircling the 3rd of the D7. Sharp 9, flat 9, flat 9 resolving to 5th of the G major 7 chord. So this is a standard line. Just standard major 7 vocabulary. So really you should just take these lines and practice them through a bunch of keys, get them in your ear. It's as easy as that. Just outlining the 5th and the root of the C major 7 chord. Now, this next line, that's kind of like an E minor 7 arpeggio, because the whole thing we're targeting here, it's F sharp minor 7 flat 5, B7, going to E minor, so that's all kind of based around E minor. Then we're going, now this is all from the B altered scale, which is C melodic minor. Okay, we're basically playing like an F sharp, or sorry, an F triad with a sharp 4, F major triad. 3rd, sharp 4, 5th, sharp 4, 3rd, 1, 5th, and this resolves to the 5th of E. Then we do exactly the same thing for A minor. Exactly the same lick, just transposed to that key. We take the root of the A minor and we go into D, D altered. That's the lick. So that's the sharp, or flat 5 rather, sharp 11 flat 5 of D altered. 3rd, sharp 11 flat 5, sharp 9, flat 9, root, flat 7, and the flat 7 of D again resolves stepwise to the 3rd of G. That's followed by a really kind of standard piece of vocabulary for a major chord. It's just going B minor 7, G major 7. So it's B minor 7 over G is the equivalent to playing a G major 9. So that's 3, 5, 7, 9. Then 7, 1, 3, 5. So it's just all chord tones and nice tensions that work. Then on the C, it's just going between the 3rd and the 9. It's not even just a little phrase. Okay, then the next thing we have, that's actually like a bebop scale coming from harmonic minor. Don't really worry about where it comes from at the moment, just worry about the sound, getting that sound in your ears and the line under your fingers. That's coming from one of our written minor 251 lines that we did in the lesson about minor 251s, so try substituting it for other minor 251 lines that we did there. And then over the B7, so that's like playing flat 7 to 1 on B7, natural 13 to 1, flat 13 to 1, and then this note is actually over E minor, so it's the 9. So you can see we're voice leading again between chords. That's actually a fully voice led line. It leads the ear from, and this note is like a pedal on the top. And then we have a standard piece of minor major 7 vocabulary. That's just coming from E melodic minor. 9, 1, 7, 1, flat 3, 7, 6. Okay, next we've got a minor 251 lick that's coming from the diminished scale. Now I'm not too worried about, I realise we haven't explained the diminished scale yet, but I'm not too worried about that. I want you to get the sound of it in your ears and the feel of it under your fingers with an example, so that whenever we do approach the topic later on, you're going to have some sort of idea of what it sounds like, a practical application for it. So let's play the lick. That's the lick. It works over both chords, or it takes us through both chords, the F sharp minor 7 and the B7. Then we resolve to the third, the flat third of E minor. Now that's just going down the triadic arpeggio. Flat 3, 1, 5, flat 3, and then just a little flourish at the end. 4, 5, 4, flat 3, 5. Then we're going to voice lead to the third of E minor, or E dominant 7th chord. Da, da, da. Okay, then flat 9, 1, flat 7. That's a really standard piece of vocabulary. That would be a good one to practice over and over, get it in your ears. Then the flat 7 of E7 resolves to the flat third of A minor 7. And we got a really standard piece of minor vocabulary there. Then that's all an approach system to the third of D7. Then we got D7 altered because it goes sharp 9, flat 9, sharp 9, resolving to the to the fifth of G major 7. So to put that in context, then a really standard piece of major vocabulary. Just 5, 3, 7, 5, 6, 7, 9. So that's like a B minor triad arpeggio, and like a D, kind of D major idea. Then we're resolving to C, just 5, 1, 1. Okay, then over this minor 2, 5, F sharp minor 7, B7. That's our lick. So this, I would think of this as A minor vocabulary, because A minor is effectively the same thing as F sharp minor 7 flat 5. They're both coming from the key of G major. F sharp minor 7 flat 5 is from the key of G major. A Dorian is from the key of G major. They're effectively, it's just a way of thinking about it. I would think of this as A minor. Then over the B7 we're playing altered. Flat 7, 1, flat 9, 1, flat 7, flat 5, flat 9, flat 9 resolving to the 5th of E minor 7. Now, what we have, the next part is consisting mainly of 2 5-1s following each other. So we've got E minor 7, A7, D minor 7, G7. But instead of going down to the A7, we put E flat in the bass. We keep the same root and guide tones, but put E flat in the bass. It's like the flat 5th. So it's called a flat 5 substitution or a tritone substitution, but it's effectively the same chord. A7 and E flat 7 are effectively the same chord. So we have E minor 7, E flat 7, D minor 7, D flat 7, the same thing happening there, just a flat 5 substitution on the root note, but the guide tones are the same. And that resolves to C major 7. So we're just running down the minor. Da, 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 da. Just think of that as an E minor line and a D minor line. Okay. I think of this then as an A minor line, because A minor is the relative minor of C major and we're playing on a C major chord. And then we got a standard 2-5-1 lick for F sharp minor 7 flat 5, B7, E minor 7, 1 and 2 and so that's a really good one to practice through a bunch of keys. Just practice it all over the place, so you have it to play at will over any minor 2-5-1 in any key. Okay, so that's more or less the solo explained. What we're doing is using the licks that we had in terms of the minor and major 2-5-1 licks, and we're always thinking about voice leading them. There's a number of examples of standard minor and major vocabulary in here, which would be really useful for you to practice and kind of just put into your own vocabulary in terms of if you're improvising over a progression, just start putting these things in, make them part of your own way of improvising, and then over time they'll evolve even further to be more unique to you. So I really hope you get something out of this and are able to implement it into your playing. Thanks for now.